I'm writing my master thesis about barriers towards a circular fashion industry in the Amsterdam metropolitan area. And my first question would be, what are the most challenging barriers your company is facing in becoming or already being a fully circular brand?
Charlie. Just hello. Let's say hello to Charlene. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, nice to have you here. Yeah, we just quickly started with Jana already because she was the only one so far, but maybe you can also give a quick introduction and then we can answer your question after Jana.
Yeah, that would be great. So I'm Charlene, I'm a PhD student at Technic University in Berlin, and right now I'm at Politecnico di Milano, and I'm doing my PhD about circular economy and social startups. So at this intersection, but basically I'm more in the broad entrepreneurship perspective, so startups and small and medium-sized enterprises, and do research about like how they can merge to increase the sustainability impact. So this is my topic. But Jana, I really don't want to steal your time, so I would just shut up and you can start.
Well, mostly the advantage of this kind of webinar is that many of the questions you ask will also help the other students, so it's always working well. So go ahead, Jana, start again, please.
Okay, so my question is, what are the most challenging barriers your company is facing in becoming or already being a fully circular brand?
Okay, shall I answer that one? Yeah,
you can start. I can.
When we started 10 years ago, circularity was like an unknown thing, or hardly known, and we started our company based on circularity. So it's not like we became a circular company. So being started like that, it makes it different. And about the challenges, it's when you want to be circular, that's your question, right?
Yeah.
You can be circular, but it also implicates for me and for our team that I would say circular means that we want to reuse the raw materials and bring it back on a high level in jeans again. So for us, it's cotton recycling, and not then to bring it to some isolation material or some now to really make yarns out of that again and make jeans out of it again. So that's circularity. But if you do that, I think it's important that you then also make sure that the whole chain is known. You can't be a circular company and then make your jeans by child labor or use toxic material or do it very far away and have a lot of CO2 emission. So it's more than circularity, it's also you have to be, in my view, fair trade and be careful with resources, try to recycle the water you use, all that kind of thing. So it's actually much bigger than you think in the beginning. And you're learning a lot through your 10 years career as a company. When we started, we still used the indigo, the blue dye stuff for jeans that was available at that time, which is actually not a very good indigo, it's rather toxic. So there's now an improved indigo, which is non-toxic and
it's a foam dye instead of the typical dye. So you save a lot of water and a lot of chemicals and energy.
Yeah. So that is an example of saying, okay, you have to do everything right. Yeah. And you were talking about the challenges, right?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, when you start a company, of course, very easy, it's the money. And to be honest, most of the things technically exist already. People know how to recycle and people know how to, but you have to want to do it. Of course, it's improving. When we started, we could only recycle 20% waste into new jeans. And today we can go up to 40, and actually we want to go to 100% recycled content, which we did, but only on a laboratory scale. But of course, the money is important. But during your lifetime as a company, that changes into what we see today, that every fashion company suddenly found out that you have to talk about sustainability because customers are asking that, and about circularity and all those kind of things. So they suddenly, without really being driven by their core values, they suddenly think, oh, we have to be sustainable. And they start marketing sustainability, and not always in a way that we like. Many times we see greenwashing around us. So for the consumer, it's very difficult to realize, okay, what is this company saying? And is it really true? Mm-hmm. Can I believe that? So we have to be radical transparent. We as a company, we have to make what she's doing a life cycle assessment, but also a sustainability report. I hope you've seen the latest one.
Yeah.
So the difficulties change during the time of company. And then we are lucky. There's also advantage, of course. We are lucky that we can get a lot of good people in our company. So today, a challenge for companies in general is to get staff, if I'm well informed. For us, that's not a problem. So that's a good thing. To give another example, for instance, when this whole Suez Canal thing happened with this boat blocked, for us it was great because we just ship from Tunisia to us and it's there, no problem. Container prices go up, not a problem for us. Cotton prices go up, we use 40% waste, so not so much. So there's also big advantages nowadays. I always like to talk about advantages. So yeah, does that answer your question? It's a long story, but many questions were answered.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's go to Charlene and see if she has questions left now. We said everything, Charlene.
I would like to dig more into like the drivers. So you were talking about the barriers to circularity. Yeah. Maybe you can also refer a little bit to social barriers. I got from your answer, it's like about communication and stuff, but is there something more?
That's Lea is the expert on social.
Can you clarify your question a little bit? So you mean, are there social barriers for us to, as a company?
Yeah, also to increase like your sustainability impact. So your business model, as I understood, is like to create a sustainable product and to become more sustainable. So in the end, like what hinders you from a social perspective? What hinders you to get better?
Well, I think a big thing for us so far has really been that we have to compete with businesses that have budgets that are a huge multitude of what we have, which allows them to be much louder and much more seen with their sustainability efforts, even though they are just a small fraction of what we do. And I think that has been a conflict for a lot of small sustainable brands now. How do you stand out in front of these businesses that have all of this manpower and money to shout it from the rooftops? I think that was a really big, or well, still is a really big one for us. Yeah. But we are hopeful that this will become better now because there is greenwashing regulations coming up. There are big companies like H&M being sued for their greenwashing actions. Because they're not careful with what they claim. And I think really when it comes to then these regulations becoming stricter and stricter, then you will start to see which businesses remain and which can still talk about sustainability. And I think then this will become less of a barrier for us. But it always takes legislation for these things to be really put in place. It has to be from the law side.
Yeah.
And also like more drivers or like things that help you to overcome the circular barriers that you were mentioning before?
Well, there's also legislation there. You have the EPR now, the Extended Producer Responsibility. That will help us because today we are one of the few really saying to our customers, please send back your old jeans because we are going to reuse that. And also those costs, it's very hard for us to calculate that in our business model. And in the end, somebody has to pay for that. The transport, gathering it all together, see what we can use and what we cannot use. We're the only ones doing that. And when my competitors now have to do the same, it's creating more level playing field. And that's what I think we need.
Yeah,
is a level playing field.
Also like more competition in your in this area, so people get used to send their worn out clothes back, or would this hinder you?
No, why not? Yes, our aim is that the fashion industry changes, and we are just making a lot of noise and trying to show the world that you can have a business by thinking and by being responsible for what you do and by reusing old material. So it's our mission also to get the bigger ones join us and copy us.
Great. So Janne, do you have another question? I don't want to
Very good.
jump in, like, because like this. I mean, I have also more questions, but I don't want to take. Like,
yeah, we can maybe do one and then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have another question. So I was wondering if there's any kind of support program or funding at local or national level for companies that want to become circular, because I did a research on that and I couldn't really find anything that would help the companies.
It's a good research you did. It's correct.
I mean, there are some smaller grants. For example, we are now in 6 days launching a little repair pilots. We already offer some repairs, but we want to do this on a bigger scale. So we're testing that, and we did get some funding for that. But of course, that's really not huge sums. It's not really something you can build your business on. It's really more if you want to start small projects. Yeah.
That's a good question. We also got some support when we said we want to launch the 100% completely recycled jeans. We work together with Saxion University, so you need different partners to ask for this kind of subsidy. But it's not big. It's only I think they help us with the social charges for the people that are putting hours in that work. So we are exonerated for the social charges. So it's like a little bit of help. Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's really just more on a project basis, and then it helps you to cover the costs to some extent. But
yeah, we're now into this new program with circularity.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
We've actually, to give you more info, we've hired an external company specialized in writing these kind of demands and filling in the right things, because it's a lot of work also. They take a small percentage of when we do get some help. Yeah. But so far we didn't hit the jackpot.
Charlene, you have a question still?
Yes, and it's into this direction. So it's about collaborations and partnerships. So maybe when we talk about it more in general, like, which partners do you have? What do you learn from them? And maybe what do they learn from you?
We have a lot of partners. I think.
Yeah, I saw it on the website. Maybe you can give me 1 or 2 examples that like are very present for you. I
think if you look at our supply chain, these are really, at least in my head, some of the most important ones, because you can't sustainably produce without responsible, transparent, sustainable supply chain partners. And I think there it's a constant exchange of we learn from them how they produce, we learn how we can support them in producing even more sustainably. Yeah. We're in very close contact with all of them. We regularly visit them. Recently, we went to Tunisia as a team. And this is our tier 1 supplier. So where the final jeans is made out of the fabric. And every time there's new advances there. And at the moment, we're pushing together for solar panel installations in their factory, because it's proving quite difficult in Tunisia. Yeah. Due to some local regulations. What else? I mean, from Saxion University, of course, we learned a lot. So this is for the 100% recycled jeans. There's
also, I don't want you to know, logistics is very important. When you order a jeans online, many customers want it to be there next day. So we cannot compete with those kind of, and the logistic partners, they're more difficult to get into sustainability sometimes. Although this, we talk about packaging, we don't want any plastics, all those kind of things. That's sometimes a big challenge to make sure they do it. But this one we choose because they work together with Fiets Courier. So many of our jeans you order online are brought to you by bicycle in Holland. We're looking for a partner in Germany who could do the same. That would be nice. Maybe last mile. That's a more difficult partner to change point of view. But okay, it's helping. But also in bookkeeping, for instance, we have an external accountant office. There's not much discussion about sustainability because it's not so dramatic, I would say.
Yeah, I would say the biggest is really our supply chain. And then I think also in terms of then when it comes to things like customer contact, marketing and so on, because we're a B Corp, we're in contact with a lot of other B Corps and there's a lot of exchange there on ideas and strategies. And I think we kind of support each other there lots and learn from each other's wins and losses. So I think that's also a big one.
Great. So these kind of networks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And maybe one technical question. I see that you record this meeting. Can I also get this recording?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
It will be on YouTube today or tomorrow.
And also,
or do you need it as a file? Then I think you will get it as an automatic email, or you can just send an email to info@madjeans.eu and they will send it to you as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also you can see also the former webinars we did. You can have a look.
Yeah, there's a file with all of them.
Yeah.
On which page?
I'll show it to you.
Okay. Janne, do you have another question?
Yes. If I think about the support again, I'm just asking myself, what kind of support from the government would be helpful for you in order to make further progress?
Of course, money is a big thing. We want to have the best people in our team.
Yeah.
We also have to pay them a good salary, which we can't at the moment. But we do have the province of North Holland, who invested in our company, who is a shareholder, small shareholder. So they are really hoping for us to move forward and reach the targets that we wanted to reach. And they don't only check, of course, also the money, but also how much CO2 emission we've saved, how much water we've saved, all those kind of things. So they have other KPIs to look at our business, not only money-wise. Of course, you have to be careful with the money and make sure that it's well used. So they are helping us there. But to be honest, that's the biggest struggle. Everything has a price. If we want to work with the best marketeers, with the brightest guys, they know their price, and sometimes they want to help us, but it has to be a long-term relationship, and then you have to pay the price also. Who's that?
That's from, and perhaps the double VAT that's being put on products. So at the moment, you have to pay tax again on the jeans that you're already recycling, whereas it should really be the other way around, and you should be financially incentivized to take your product back and make a new product out of it. And it's just discouraging these approaches if it's costing you more to do this than it is worth financially. So I mean, we of course still do it, but also for us it would be great if there wasn't financial incentive to it, and in general for the fashion industry, of course, that would be great as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Marlene?
Maybe now some personal question, how about your perception about sustainability and circularity in general. So I was wondering, first of all, would you consider Madjeans still as a startup, or how would you consider yourself as a small and medium-sized business?
We call ourselves a scale-up.
Scale-up, okay.
And we reached this level where we are now in the first 10 years that we exist. So we do around 70 to 80,000 jeans a year, and we want to go much further. And I know growth is a term that's not used, but if you grow within green jeans and sell less dirty jeans, then we want to grow. So we are now ready for the next phase and really want to make big steps the coming years to become a leader in our field. You know, today we are a front runner and a disruptor as a company, but we think that our base is very solid, and we have to scale now. We have to show that we can also drive this company to bigger proportions, and it has to be huge, I think.
Yes. And how many employees do you have at the moment? Because I found on LinkedIn 23.
I think that's also previous people or people that somehow worked with us, but it's 12.
We have a lot of interns that still mentioned.
That still put
very proudly, which is fine with us.
That's why I wanted to double check, because sometimes LinkedIn is not like the best sort of.
Do we have 23? Let me check.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, 12 we are.
Okay, and then like these very small questions. What is sustainability? What does this term mean to you? And would you consider your company more circular, sustainable, or something else, like any other term? How would you see yourself?
Well, the term that we always use is, of course, circularity, but for us, or at least for me, circularity is a part of sustainability. And I think we're not just circular, we generally want to be sustainable. And I think we're still lacking a clear definition of what sustainability means. But just from my perspective, if you go back to the actual meaning of that word, it means we can sustain the way that we currently do something, right? So working within the boundaries of our planet and thinking about if you produce something really from start to finish and to start again. I think, does that more or less answer your question? So we like to say we're circular front runners, but and so our main value there is circularity, because we have this very circular business model. But in everything, in every step of our supply chain and our production, we look at sustainability and not just through the lens of circularity.
Mm-hmm. Okay, my next question would be, which social impact do you want to create? But I think first, Yannick, you can maybe put your next question.
It's fine. You can go ahead. I'm finished.
Oh, okay. Yeah, which social impact do we want to have? I think that the main one is really to change the fashion industry, inspire the people that come with us along the way. And then, of course, fair production is a big one for us as well. I think we want to make sure that everyone across our supply chain is treated fairly. And there's always room to grow. But I think for us, the biggest one is really being radically transparent, educating the people that follow us, and well, yeah, collaborating with everyone in our supply chain in a fair way.
Okay, and if you have to rank the sustainability dimensions, so the overall sustainability dimensions are usually like people, planet, profit. I think this is something quite common. How would you rank this these dimensions?
For us as a business or in general?
For you as a business.
Okay. Well,
or like for this business model you have right away.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go based on, you know, the main mission on which Mud Jeans was built was planet, of course. I think we wanted to really ensure that we create jeans or create a jeans alternative that's not harmful to our planet. So planet is definitely on top for us. And I'm just, yeah, for us, it was always a no-brainer that if you're going to produce, you're going to have to do it in a fair way. So you have to protect and respect the people there. So yeah, I would say planet, people, profit, because profit for us has never really been the priority. Of course, it's a nice and important thing, but I would say, yeah, planet, people, profit, which doesn't mean that people are less worth to us. I think it's just that our main messaging is really about planet, of course.
Yeah.
And what are like the impact areas that you want to improve for the next time? What is like the next like biggest goals that you want to achieve to increase your impact?
I think the biggest one is our 100% recycled jeans.
Yeah.
So for us, it's always been about taking our jeans back. Circularity, you know, recycling is a big thing in that. So that's really the most ambitious goal, and maybe also the most important next goal in terms of sustainable production for us. So yeah, I would say that we're working with our supply chain partners and other organizations together now to make that happen. I think that it's going to be a long road because on a bigger scale, it's really a lot more complex. So yeah, that would be, I think, the biggest one right now.
Okay, maybe like one last question, if I'm allowed. Who are your main stakeholders? So whom do you want to like serve with the company?
Charlene von Kolpinski is one of them.
Yes. That's great, and I'm really grateful for this.
We call them the liberal intellectuals, but we have a better word for that.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Well,
yeah,
yeah,
people that are worried about climate change, are well educated, they have children, mostly.
Yeah, but these are not our stakeholders. Right?
No.
These are more the people that we focus on in terms of the people that enjoy our brand. But yeah, in terms of stakeholders, I think more people need to make the planet, and our nature is stakeholders, so that's a big one for us as well.
Yeah.
And I think all of the people involved in our supply chain are stakeholders for us too, and then just society in general. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Like also for taking the time today.
You were lucky to get all these questions done one by one. Well prepared.
Yeah.
So I hope you're happy, Janne.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And
Also from my side, thank you.
you can have a look at the